You're born in a shabby, crumbling house at the edge of the village, your cry barely louder than the creak of the old rafters. The midwife doesn't cheer. She wipes her hands, glances at your father, and bolts out the door like she just delivered a demon instead of a baby. Why? Because your father is the executioner. Congratulations. You've just spawned into medieval hard mode. Your cradle, a splintered wooden box shoved in the corner, and right above it, gleaming in the firelight, hangs your new guardian angel, a massive X. While other babies fall asleep to lullabies, you drift off to the sound of your dad sharpening steel. Cozy, right? When you hit toddlerhood, you take your first heroic steps, straight toward the axe on the wall. Tiny fingers reach out. Your dad yanks it away and growls, "Not yet." Translation: give it a few years, kid. Soon you'll be chopping heads off thieves like it's nothing. What a heartwarming family tradition. And childhood friends? Yeah, you don't have any. The village kids take one look at you and bolt like you're carrying the plague. Their parents whisper, "That one's cursed," and drag them away by the wrist. You just stand there, hand half raised, like you're about to join a game you'll never be invited to. Trust me, you're not getting invited. Other kids hear fairy tales before bed. You get lines like, "Son, always swing from the shoulder, never the wrist. Sweet dreams, champ." Nothing like imagining flying vertebrae to help you drift off. That's your childhood. No parades, no friends, no school, just you, the axe, and a future nobody asked your opinion about. Curtain up. The tragedy officially begins. Fast forward, you're a scrawny teenager, arms sore from lugging sandbags. The axe is heavier now, but guess what? So are the expectations. Dad hands it over like it's your birthday present. "Happy manhood, son. Go split something." Touching, isn't it? Training starts with logs. You raise the blade, swing, and watch the wood crack. Impressive? Not to your father. He squints like you just insulted the ancestors. Next lesson? Dead animals. The butcher tosses you carcasses, and you practice separating heads from torsos. Nothing says childhood memory like a chicken head rolling across the dirt. Meanwhile, the villagers keep their distance. At the market, you reach for an apple, and the stall owner instantly doubles the price. Even dogs hate you. One sniffs your hand, growls, and backs away. Congrats, you're officially less lovable than a medieval rat. But all of that, just rehearsal. The real horror show comes when you're shoved into your first public execution. You drag yourself up the wooden steps, the axe clanging against your side. The condemned is already kneeling, trembling, lips mumbling prayers. You glance at Dad. He nods. No escape. The crowd leans forward, thirsty for blood. You grip the handle, sweat dripping from your palms. One deep breath. You lift. And then, whack. Rotten vegetables fly. A tomato explodes against your shoulder. You stand there, face red, hands sticky with blood and shame. Welcome to the family business. Afterward, you stumble home, reeking of sweat and failure. Dad claps your back with his iron grip. "Not bad," he grunts. That's fatherly affection in executioner speak. Congrats. You've survived puberty with both arms intact and a resume that reads, "Can separate head from body," sometimes on the first try. You're now the town's full-time executioner. Then comes payday. Sounds nice, right? Wrong. The council doesn't hand you neat little pouches of coins. Nope. Sometimes you're paid in onions. Sometimes in a pair of boots freshly stripped off a corpse. Once, they gave your family a goat. Guess where it came from? A hanged thief. Even the goat looks at you sideways. Dinner turns into a circus of irony. You sit at the table, lifting a chipped bowl. Mom ladles stew into it. You chew your bread, trying not to notice the faint scorch mark that suspiciously looks like somebody's initials. Bon appetit. But it's not all fun and games at home. The stage keeps calling. By now you've got swagger. You climb the scaffold steps like it's your throne. The condemned kneels. You adjust your grip, flash a little smirk at the crowd. After all, it's showbiz. One clean stroke and the people cheer. You even hear a few bravos. You bow, pretending it doesn't bother you that your biggest fans are drunkards with missing teeth. The first sign of decline? You miss the mark. Just a little. Enough that the condemned lets out a half gurgle before you swing again. The crowd doesn't cheer. They flinch. Someone mutters, "Should have hired a younger man." You wipe the blade, pretending not to hear, but your ears burn. At night, the ghosts show up. You toss and turn in bed, sweating, hands clawing at the air. In your dreams, you're always swinging, always too slow. Eyes stare at you, dozens, hundreds, all frozen wide open. You bolt upright, chest heaving, fingers trembling as if they still clutch the axe. Your wife rolls over, sighs, mutters, "Not again." You rub your temples, but the screams don't fade. By day, you keep up appearances, march to the square, adjust your hood, grip the axe like you still own it. But your body betrays you, the slight shake as you lift, the stagger when you plant your feet. The crowd notices everything. They whisper, "Old butcher, worn-out killer." Once they feared you, now they mock you. So you double down. You practice swings in the yard, chopping logs until your arms ache. You pace the scaffold, rehearsing the walk, the grip, the stance. On execution day, your body betrays you again. Sweat drips into your eyes, your axe slips, and the crowd jeers. You force a grin, bow stiffly, and step off the stage with the grace of a clown who's lost his last trick. At home, you sit by the fire, staring at the axe leaning against the wall. You trace the notches on the handle, each groove a memory. Your child watches from the corner, eyes wide, silent. You catch their stare. They quickly look away. You know what they're thinking. The same thing you once thought when looking at your father. Is that going to be me? The years grind you down, your back bent like a crooked tree. At home, your child watches. Their shoulders are broader now, their eyes older than they should be. You call them outside, hand them the axe. It feels heavier than ever as you pass it over. They take it without a word, fingers tracing the dents in the handle. For a moment, you see your own face in theirs, hesitant, resigned. The same silent curse, passed from father to son like a family heirloom nobody wanted. The first time they join you on the scaffold, you stand behind, guiding their stance. You place a hand on their shoulder, whisper from the shoulder, not the wrist. The crowd leans in, waiting. The axe comes down, clean, too clean. They cheer. You clap your child's back, grin wide, but inside, it stings. The apprentice just outshined the master. Your role shrinks. Pour water, sweep the scaffold after the crowd disperses. You linger at the edge of the square while your child takes the spotlight. Whispers reach your ears, better than his father. At least this one knows what he's doing. You laugh bitterly at the tavern, raise your mug and roar, "One more head, one more loaf." But your smile is brittle, paper thin. One morning, you shuffle into the square, joints popping like dry firewood. Then it happens. A nobleman leans forward, sneering. "That botched hanging last week? Unacceptable." The words cut deeper than any blade. You stammer, bow, insist it won't happen again. The crowd jeers. For the first time, their eyes don't hold fear, only hatred. Days later, soldiers pound at your door. Steel gauntlets, cold voices. They drag you outside, shove you into the mud. Neighbors peek through shutters. They push you up the same scaffold you've climbed 1,000 times. But this time your wrists are bound. The axe waits at the block, not in your grip, but in your child's hands. Their faces pale, their knuckles white on the handle. You meet their eyes. They flinch. You smile weakly, as if to say, "It's fine. We knew this day would come." The crowd leans forward. They hunger. They've seen this play before, but never with you on the stage. You kneel. The wood scrapes your skin. You lower your head, close your eyes. Remember every face you've ever seen do the same. From the shoulder, you whisper. Your child hears. The axe rises. Whack! The square erupts. Cheers thunder. Rotten fruit splatters the scaffold. The crowd doesn't remember your decades of service. They only remember the monster who brought death. And now, they cheer your own. But maybe you're luckier than that. Maybe no noble condemns you. Maybe no mob gathers. Instead, you wither quietly. You slump by the fire, mug of ale in hand, axe leaning against the wall. Your child is out there, swinging steel in the square, while you cough into your sleeve, bones rattling like loose chains. One night, you just don't wake up. No drums, no prayers, just silence. The town barely notices. By dawn, your axe rests in new hands, the scaffold scrubbed clean for tomorrow's show. Your name fades like smoke. No statues, no songs, no glory. Just a forgotten shadow, swallowed by the very square you once ruled. Because that's the grand joke. You were never a man of justice or honor or power. You were just a tool, needed when sharp, discarded when dull. A blade that swings until it breaks, then tossed aside for the next.